The shears made a satisfying snip as Eleanor trimmed a defiant branch from the rose bush. She called it the General, for its stubborn refusal to grow anywhere but straight up, blocking the sun from the more delicate blossoms below. She spoke to it, as she often did. "You see, Leo," she murmured, her breath fogging in the crisp autumn air of Ohio. "Even here, there's a battle for the light." A car door slammed shut on the street. It was a sound that didn't belong on their quiet cul-de-sac, too heavy and official. She didn't turn at first. She refused to. Instead, she focused on a ladybug crawling along a green leaf, a tiny, perfect piece of a world that still made sense. But the footsteps on the gravel path were undeniable. 2 pairs, polished leather on stone, slow, deliberate, final. She finally laid the shears on the small wooden bench, wiping her soil-stained hands on her apron. When she turned, they stood there, 2 soldiers in immaculate dress uniforms, their faces young and impossibly solemn. One held a hat in his hands, the other held a folded flag. The world did not stop. The birds did not cease their singing. The sun did not hide behind a cloud. It simply fractured, like glass struck by a stone, the pieces falling away until only the sound of her own breathing remained. Weeks later, the box arrived. A standard-issue footlocker, government green, stenciled with a name that was hers, yet not hers, Leo's name. For days, it sat in the living room, a silent monument. She dusted it. She placed a vase of his favorite chrysanthemums on it. She did everything but open it. Then, one Tuesday morning, when the silence of the house became louder than any scream, she knelt on the floor and unlatched it. The scent of him, of canvas, oil, and something else, something earthy and foreign, rose to meet her. Inside lay his life, packed away, his small portable typewriter, the one she'd given him for his 18th birthday. Stacks of empty notebooks, their pages waiting for stories he would never write. And beneath it all, a thick bundle of envelopes, bound together with a piece of rough twine. They were addressed to her, but they had never been sent. The postmarks were from field offices she couldn't place on a map. She untied the twine, the paper brittle under her fingertips. The first one was dated almost a year ago. His handwriting, so full of life, seemed to speak from the page. August 12th, 1968. Dear Mom. The bus ride to the training base felt like the opening chapter of a book I didn't know how to write. All the other boys were either loud, trying to prove how tough they were, or silent, trying to hide how scared they were. I think I was somewhere in the middle. I met a guy named Sam. He's from Texas and talks so fast you could miss 3 jokes before you've even processed the first one. He says the drill sergeants are paid to hate us, but it's a professional kind of hate, not personal. I'm not so sure. They shaved our heads. You wouldn't recognize me. When I look in the mirror, I see a stranger with your eyes. They teach us how to march, how to shoot, how to become a piece of a machine. But at night, in the dark, when all you can hear is 50 other boys breathing, I think about home. I think about the smell of your apple pie cooling on the windowsill and the sound of rain on the roof. I pull out the typewriter sometimes, but the words won't come. How can you write about the future when you're spending all your energy just getting through today? I'm trying to be the man you raised me to be. I hope I'm not letting you down. All my love, Leo. October 29th, 1968. Dear Mom, we're here. I don't know how to describe this place. The air is so thick you can drink it. It smells of rain, rot, and 100 spices I don't have names for. Everything is green. A deep, wet, suffocating green that feels like it's alive and watching you. The flight over was long. Sam sat next to me, telling stories about his grandfather's ranch. But for the first time, he wasn't smiling. None of us were. When we landed and the doors opened, the heat hit us like a physical blow. It's not like an Ohio summer. This heat has weight. It presses down on your skin, your lungs. At night, the jungle comes alive with a symphony of insects and animals I've only ever read about in books. It's beautiful and terrifying all at once. The people, they have this quietness about them. They look at us with eyes that have seen too much. Their faces are like old maps, full of roads I'll never understand. I feel like a ghost here, walking through someone else's life. I haven't written a single story. The reality of this place is more potent than any fiction I could invent. All I can do is observe and try to remember the details. I hope this letter finds you well. Don't worry about me. Sam and I are sticking together. He says as long as we do that, we'll be fine. Love, Leo. December 25, 1968. Dear Mom, Merry Christmas. It's strange to write that when it's 95 degrees and the air is humming with mosquitoes. The chaplain held a service this morning under a camouflage net. We sang Silent Night while helicopters chopped the air overhead. It was the most surreal moment of my life. Sam got a package from his family with pecan cookies. They were stale and mostly crumbs, but we ate every last one. It was the best thing I've tasted in months. We went on patrol yesterday, my first real one. You walk differently here. You don't just walk, you listen with your feet. Every snapped twig, every rustle of leaves could mean anything. My heart was a drum against my ribs the entire time. Nothing happened. We just walked for 10 hours, soaked in sweat and fear, and then we walked back. It's the waiting that gets to you, the not knowing. It grinds you down. I miss the snow. I miss the feeling of cold air on my face. I miss the simplicity of a world where the most dangerous thing is a patch of ice on the sidewalk. Tell the general I said hello. I hope you're staying warm. Your loving son, Leo. February 14th, 1969. Dear Mom, we moved to a new base of operations, closer to a small village. There's a market here. It's a chaotic swirl of color and sound and smells. It's the first time I've felt something other than fear or boredom in months. It felt alive. I saw a girl there. She was selling flowers, small white blossoms I've never seen before. She can't be much older than me. She doesn't smile much, but when she does, it's like the sun breaking through the constant haze. Her name is Anne. I don't know how to pronounce it properly, but she laughs when I try. I bought some flowers from her. I didn't have anywhere to put them, so I just held them all the way back to the barracks. Sam said I was crazy. Maybe I am. But for a few minutes, holding those flowers, I wasn't a soldier. I was just a boy buying flowers for no reason at all. It was a good feeling. I think about my typewriter a lot. I think I'm starting to find the story I'm meant to write. It's not about the war, not really. It's about the people who live in the spaces between the fighting. It's about finding a single white flower in a world of mud and steel. I hope this makes sense. Love, Leo. April 5th, 1969. Dear Mom, Sam was right. Sticking together is what keeps us whole. We were assigned to help rebuild a school in Anne's village. It had been damaged in a firefight weeks before we arrived. It felt good to be building something instead of just waiting for something to be destroyed. Anne was there every day, bringing water to the men who were working. She taught me a few words. Water, thank you, son. Simple words for simple things. One afternoon, it started to rain. That sudden, violent rain that happens here. Everyone ran for cover, but Anne just stood there, face tilted up to the sky, letting it wash over her. I stood with her. We didn't speak. We just shared the silence and the storm. In that moment, she wasn't a local girl, and I wasn't a foreign soldier. We were just two people under the same sky. She told me, with gestures and the few words we share, that rain cleanses things, makes them new. I told her about Ohio, about the way snow falls so quietly it can break your heart. I'm not sure she understood, but she listened. And that was enough. I feel like I am changing, Mom. The boy who got on that bus is gone. I don't know if this new person is better, but he is learning how to see. He is learning that hope is not a grand idea, but a small, quiet thing, like sharing a moment of silence in a downpour. All my love, Leo. June 19th, 1969. Dear Mom, it happened. The thing we all pretend won't. We were on patrol, deep in the jungle. It was a quiet morning. Too quiet. Sam was walking point. There was a noise, a click. He pushed me back, hard. That's the last thing I remember clearly. I woke up with mud on my face and a ringing in my ears that sounded like 1,000 angry bells. Sam was on the ground. They got him out. The medics say he'll live, but he's going home. His war is over. I sat with him before they put him on the helicopter. He couldn't talk much. He just grabbed my hand and squeezed. Write it all down, Leo, he whispered. Tell them what it was like. I've never felt so alone. The guy who always had a joke, the guy who made this whole nightmare bearable, is gone. It should have been me. He saved my life. What am I supposed to do with that? What do you do with a gift you never asked for, paid for with someone else's pain? For the first time, I hate this place. I hate the heat. I hate the silence. I hate the war that takes good men and breaks them. I want to come home. I just want to come home. Your son, Leo, August 30th, 1969. Dear Mom, I went back to the village. I had to see her. I had to see something that wasn't broken. I found Anne at the market. When she saw me, her face changed. She knew. The news travels fast here. She didn't say anything. She just took my hand and led me away from the noise, to a small temple by the river. We sat on the steps. She gave me a piece of fruit, a mango, and watched me eat it. Its sweetness felt like a betrayal. How can anything be sweet in a world like this? But then she started to talk, in her language, soft and melodic. I didn't understand the words, but I understood the tone. She was telling me a story of resilience, of survival, of finding grace in the ruins. I told her about Sam. I told her about you. I told her about my dream of being a writer, and how the words feel like ashes in my mouth now. She listened. Then she touched the small, empty notebook I always carry in my pocket. She took it from me, opened it to the first page, and handed it back, along with a charcoal pencil. She pointed at the page, then at me. Right. It was what Sam said. It was what she was saying. It's what you've always told me. A writer writes. No matter what. I am not okay. I don't know if I will be for a long time. But I think I can try. I can write for Sam. For Anne. For me. Love, Leo, September 21st, 1969. Dear Mom, I am writing again. It's not a story. Not yet. It's just moments. The way the sun filters through the canopy. The sound of children's laughter from the village. The taste of rice and fish. Anne's smile. I'm writing it all down. I'm trying to build a world out of words that can stand against this one. Anne and I spend time together when I can. We don't need many words. We watch the river flow. She teaches me the names of birds. I tell her about snow again. And this time, I draw it for her in the dirt. She traces the shape of a snowflake with her finger and shivers, even in the heat, pretending to be cold. We laugh. It is a fragile piece. A stolen thing. I know this can't last. I know what I am and where I am. But Mom, for the first time, I can imagine an after. After the war. After the noise. A life where I can just sit and write. With the window open to let in the smell of rain. I love her. I didn't know it was possible to feel this way here. But it is. It's the most real thing in my life. It's what I'm holding on to. We have another big patrol tomorrow, into the valley, but I'm not as scared as I used to be. I have something to come back to. I will see you soon, Mom. I promise. Tell the general I'm winning my battle for the light. All my love, always, your son. Eleanor's hands trembled as she held the last unfinished letter. The ink stopped there, mid-sentence. A promise hanging forever in the humid air of a country half a world away. The tears she had held back for weeks finally came, silent and hot. She wept for the boy who left, and the man who never came home. She wept for his stolen stories, for a love that bloomed on a battlefield, for a promise he couldn't keep. The sun began to set, casting long shadows across the living room. It painted the wall in hues of orange and purple, the colors of a bruise. Eleanor stood up, her joints aching. She walked over to the footlocker and carefully lifted out the typewriter. She carried it to the small wooden desk in the corner, the one that had been his. She wiped the dust from its keys, taking a single clean sheet of paper from one of his notebooks. She rolled it into the machine. The click and slide of the carriage was a familiar, comforting sound. For a long moment, she just sat there, her fingers hovering over the keys. Then, she took a deep breath and began to type. Her first sentence was the last one he had written. Tell the general I'm winning my battle for the light. She would finish his story. She would build him his world made of words.